every person's life, there are some major crossroads. Today is the beginning of such a crossroad for all of us. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. And occasionally we become Project Rely, where we rant, educate, lead, and inspire. Today is such a day. We are facing the dilemma of common sense versus common sense. Common sense means logical thought on the one hand, and common sense, spelled C-E-N-T-S, means money on the other. Now, I feel somewhat fortunate that I live in the Midwest, near Chicago to be exact, and far away from the South, Georgia to be exact again. Why? Because what's about to happen in the state of Georgia, where they reopen virtually everything, is far away, and the results are going to happen before they reach up here in a major way. At least I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that's the way it's going to be. I mean, I can certainly understand the absolute critical importance of getting a tattoo in today's challenging times, but somehow I've been able to overcome that urge and follow the discipline of staying at home and watching the circumstances around the country get a little better, get a little better, get a little better. And in some cases we see an outbreak, and in places that are very rural like South Dakota and some of these meat plants. And so we know that this thing is still happening, and not only that, but it happens very fast. But once again, I am thanking my lucky stars that I don't live in Georgia at the present time, or to some of the other beaches on the southern East Coast that are opening up, because they're just begging for it, in my very humble opinion. Now, this action was inspired by the rhetoric championed from the world's biggest bully pulpit. And when I say bully pulpit, I do mean bully. I'm just wondering when one of our rudely chastised reporters is going to say to the bully what the Secretary of the Army said to McCarthy in the 1950s when he was conducting his abusive verbal war on communism. The beginning of the end of that era started when the Secretary of the Army responded to a nasty personal verbal attack on one of his people by saying, and I quote, "Have you no decency, sir?" But I digress. I understand the anxiousness that we all share to recover some semblance of normalcy. I fear that life is going to imitate art, though. In an effort to return to the 4th of July mindset of yesteryear, we're opening our businesses and our beaches prematurely. We're not even complying with the minimum guidelines outlined in phase 1 of your very own plan, Mr. President. Not only that, but we're setting up the scenario so that when it fails, there was someone, and this always seemed to be the top priority, can be targeted to point an accusing finger at. It's shameful that the bully pulpit chooses not to bully when it's needed the most. That's not leadership. It's a blame avoidance. It is blame avoidance in an election year. Not even Las Vegas is rolling dice at the present time. So what's going to happen at this crossroads? What could prove to be the most significant crossroads in our lifetime? Absolutely. Hopefully, it won't turn out to be too bad. The looks on the faces of Drs. Birx and Fauci, however, suggest otherwise. If we wait even just a couple of more weeks, what's the harm? We're already financially vulnerable in a big way. The virus has not even reached its apex in Georgia. Is this really a difficult decision? When you don't even know how big the shark in the water really is that the time to go out to sea and test the waters? I'm afraid the very loud response from the briny deep is going to be, I think you need a bigger boat. And if that turns out to be the case, then I am going to be inspired to get a tattoo right now. And it's going to be written on my backside. And it's going to say, kiss my... And because we will never end a meeting on a philosophical note, let's all get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.